At the start of the film, Norma and her family notice a box placed outside their house in the morning. While heading out, they spot an unfamiliar man sitting in a black car. Curious and a bit uneasy, they decide to open the box, only to find another box inside with a red button. Along with it, there is a letter stating that Mr. Stewart will visit them at 5 p.m. Setting the box aside, they go about their daily activities until then. Mr. Stewart came to meet him. His half-face was burning in a strange way. He gave his introduction that I am Mr. Stewart and in the morning I had left that box outside your house. Norma immediately invited him inside the house. Mr. Stewart sat down and told Norma that this is not an ordinary box. If you press this button, you will get $1 million, but in return, a person's life will be lost about whom you do not even know. They give Norma $100 and the keys to the box and say that you have time till evening. If you do not press it, I will take this box from you. Saying this, she got up and left. While here we were shown Norma's husband who used to work in NASA. He had also given an application to go to space, but he got a bad news that he could not go to space. Although he had passed all the tests, but he failed in the psychological test. When he came home sad, Norma had taken a new news for him. Norma told him the whole story of Box and Mr. Stewart and said that if we press this red button, so we will get $1 million, but someone's life will be lost in return. They both thought whether they should suppress it or not. But Norma did not think that her words would be true, so she ignored Mr. Stewart's words and suppressed that button. As soon as 5 in the evening, Mr. Stewart came to their house and he gave them a briefcase of $1 million. Seeing this, Norma's husband was shocked. He did not want this money. He immediately closed the briefcase and followed her to give it to Mr. Stewart. But he had already left with his car. Before he left, he noted the number of his car. The scene is cut and shown to us on the other side that an unknown lady had died. When the police were investigating the house, they also found this woman's daughter in the washroom upstairs, who was very scared. Norma's dad goes there to investigate this case. Norma's dad found out that the one who killed that lady is not you, but her own husband. We are shown the scene of the morning in the flashback when this woman called her husband and told him that someone has entered her house forcefully. That man was scared and told her to close all the windows of his house, after which she got the news that that woman is dead and her husband was involved in it himself. Anyway, the story shifts again to Norma. Norma has come to her dad's house for a party, where out of the gifts kept in the party, Norma's husband sees the same box that was in her house. He opened the box and saw a picture of Mr. Stewart in it. In this party, our Norma's student was working as a waiter. Norma's husband notices that the child is staring at him in a strange way and is also pointing at him. Anyway, Norma's husband goes to Norma's dad and gives him the number of Mr. Stewart's car and requests him that can you find out about this car. Norma's dad agreed to do this job, but despite this, Norma and her husband were having a lot of fun in this party. They also started feeling dizzy. And they also noticed that whoever talked to them here, his nose started bleeding. They decided to go back to their home, but when they reached home, they saw that the nanny they had kept for their son, she was already asleep. It was already late. Norma told her husband to drop her at her house. On the way, the girl asked Norma's husband, "Why are you looking so worried?" Norma's husband tried to avoid the conversation. And we also noticed that when the girl was talking to Norma's husband, she also started feeling dizzy and bleeding from her nose. and in a second, she fainted. When Norma's husband checked her ID, there was another name written on it, which means this girl has hidden her ID and has definitely been sent to this girl under some conspiracy. When she came to her senses, she was very scared. She said to Norma's husband, "Now only one man can save you, who you will see in the mirror." Saying something strange, she left. Norma's husband also came home scared, and he told Norma that the girl was living with us with the wrong ID and was saying strange things. Now something else was going on in his mind. The glass man quickly went to his storeroom and saw a picture where he saw Stuart. Actually, he was already suspecting that he had seen Stuart somewhere, and he had seen Stuart in his office, that is, in NASA's old album. He was surprised that what is the relation of Stuart with all this, and why is the steward trapping him in this? He goes to his mom's dad to get help so that he can find out about the steward as soon as possible. But here he finds out that the car that took him to the box was not registered in the name of any steward, but it was registered in the name of the government. Here, Norma's husband sees pictures of another girl who was murdered by her husband at 4:45 p.m. He was shocked to hear this because Norma also pressed the red button at 4:45 p.m. Did she die by pressing Norma's button? How was this possible? Here, we see Norma who had come to the mall with her mom for shopping. She got scared and a girl came to her. She said to Norma, "You don't have to be scared, Norma. All these people who are being tested are couples, and he also has a child. If you want to know more about this, then go to a library." As soon as he said this, he was given a small paper on which some numbers were written. On the other hand, for investigation, Norma's husband had also reached the murder point with Norma's father. There were a lot of things there, and from among them, Norma's husband can also see a picture of Stuart. When he picked up the picture, there was a number written below it. He recognized that this is the number of the library's bookshelf. Norma had also come to the library. Now, the bookshelf and the number of the book was written under the picture. After picking up the book, Norma's husband took a newspaper cutting in it, which had the report of the day when these people landed on Mars for the first time. All the scientists were very excited. Steve White also went to Mars with them, and when he was taking the picture, there was a very bad lightning strike on him because of which his face was burned. Here Norma also reaches to a recording on the other side of the library. When she plays this video record, she finds out that this record is also of the same time when Steve White and his entire group were preparing to go to Mars. In this video, Steve White's face was looking absolutely fine. Norma was watching this video, and suddenly she felt like going upstairs. When she went upstairs, Mrs. Stewart was standing in front of her. When she held her hand, she fainted. Here, Norma's husband, who was about to leave. With the cutting of the book and newspaper, many people followed him. And he got scared. He came to a deserted place. So all the people sitting there started staring at him in a strange way. And then Stuart's wife also came in front of him. As soon as she saw him, she asked, "What do you want from me?" So the girl told him that the steward has controlled all of us. Norma's husband says to him, "I don't know. I just want to get out of here." After hearing this, the steward's wife takes him to a strange room and 3 water portals open in front of him. She tells him that there are 3 ways. If you want to get out of here, then choose one of them. There could have been something else in these waterways. Who would he have chosen? Suddenly he remembered that in Norma's dad's party, a boy was staring at him and pointing at him and telling him two numbers. Remembering the same hint, he chooses the second passage here, and as soon as he touches the water pulls him inside. On the other hand, we find Norma unconscious on the bed. As soon as she regained consciousness, she saw the same water portal on herself as we saw with her husband. As soon as she touched the sporty air, a lot of water and her husband fell on the bed with her. The scene is cut and now we are shown two new characters. These two were people of NASA's authority and they were talking about Stuart. And here we find a very big twist that when the electricity fell on Stuart's face, Stuart died at that time. He was also declared dead and kept in the morgue. The nurse opened his cabin with a laugh and saw that Stuart was alive. Other than his mouth, all the other wounds on his body were healed. And since then he is alive. Now one of them goes to Stuart. And we also know that Stuart is managing many government institutes at this time. There was a lot of money in front of Stuart at this time, and it was on the box on which anyone would die by pressing. That man asked Stuart, "Why are you doing this? And how long will this go on?" Stuart said, "I am just testing people. As soon as no one presses this button, I will end this game. But all these people are greedy. All these people fail in my test and press this button. And that's why I kill them." We are shown Norma and her family, who had come to someone's wedding party. Suddenly, Norma's husband gets sick and he quickly leaves the party and goes out. Norma's son saw his dad going out. He also followed his dad and Norma followed her son. It can be seen that someone had kidnapped Norma's son. And Norma was very scared seeing this. On the other hand, that man, the man who murdered his wife in the beginning of the movie, was now taunting Norma's husband with a gun. And at gunpoint, he puts him in his car. Here, this man tells Norma's husband the truth about Stuart. He was playing a very dense game in which he used to test people. In his greed, the man used to press the button of the box given to him. And whoever pressed that button, Stuart kills him through his family member. Like he got my wife killed through me. I didn't want to do this, but he kidnapped my daughter and killing my wife became my compulsion. Since that day, he has been controlling me. And whenever he controls me, blood comes out of my nose. Not only me, but he knows how to control everyone involved in his game very well. And this superpower in him, maybe because of the accident that happened to him on Mars. Norma Crespin asks him, "Where did you take my daughter?" "They must have taken your son to a hotel where there is a special pool that works like a portal. And from there, they take people to another place." These people were going towards the hotel quickly. But then, in the guise of Santa Claus, someone came in front of their car, because of which they had to apply the brake of the car. And then a truck came from the side and hit them. Maybe this was also the trick of the steward. You can see the man who had kidnapped Norma's husband. He had died on the same spot. But now Norma's husband. The military caught them and brought them to the headquarters of NASA. Here, he meets Norma, his wife, and they are dropped back to their home with ease from the same black car, from which people used to drop that button to people's homes. Coming here, these two were completely confused. They didn't understand what was happening to them. Then the steward came in front of them. Norma, as soon as she sees him, asks him, "Where is my son?" The steward said, "I will tell you. Sit with me. Actually, I had a lot of hope from you that you will not press that button. And that test will end there. But you also came in greed and pressed that button. At this time, your son is in the washroom upstairs. Neither can he hear at this time nor can he see. He turns to Norma's husband and says, "If you want your son to be fine like before, then kill your wife, and if you don't want to do this, so live comfortably with the $1 million I have given you." In anger, Norma's husband throws a gun at Stuart. But Stuart tells him that even by killing me, your son will not be cured. The only way to cure your son is to kill your wife. Norma was completely broken. Her greed had caused her a great loss. She did not love her life. Her son was so sweet that she could not see her son like this for the rest of her life. So she told her husband to kill her. Finally, Norma's husband kills Norma out of helplessness. And at the same time, we see on the other side that an unknown couple was pressing that red button. And this was the actual thing that whenever someone pressed the red button, someone died on the other side. All these things are not told in the movie how Stuart had interlinked, but here it is shown that as soon as Norma dies, Norma's husband is arrested by the police and Norma's son gets completely fine as before. And in the post-credit scene of the movie, we are shown that Stuart had never stopped playing that game. He kept the same box outside another family's house, and the movie ended while showing this. Thanks for watching.